I'm still getting the older, newer version down straight. I think God Keep Our Land that was the older, newer version. Chris McKee is our producer here at Toronto Today. And you were at the rally yesterday. You've never been to a political rally in your life.
First time in my life. I live in Pickering, so not far away from Oshawa, up at Taunton Road, where this was just kind of west of Simcoe, which is not far from Durham College, where I attended Durham College twice. And also my son's a current student at Durham College, so I know the area very well.
So you went in. What kind of crowd was there? Was it a young crowd? Was it an older crowd?
A bit of a mix. Well, first of all, the crowd was huge. So I had to park about 2 kilometers away. I couldn't even get into the hangar to park. Traffic was at a standstill. So I parked too. It was a nice day. I parked the car just at some store and walked 2 kilometers just to get in. Oshawa is predominantly a white city. So I would say the crowd probably 75% white, a little bit of a mix of ethnicity in it, but a wide range. I spoke to everyone from a 19-year-old from Scarborough, a guy named Callum, we'll hear that clip coming up, to everyone to proud boomers. I spoke to a lady who was very proud to be a boomer. So very a mix of a crowd. It was, like I said, a great atmosphere. It was almost like a rock concert type of energy. It was good.
Yeah, so you talked to Ryan here. What are we going to hear from Ryan?
Guy, 4-year-old son, just kind of concerned about his son's future.
I want my son to enjoy the same rights and freedoms that I grew up with. And I find with the current climate, we're losing some of those.
How old's your son? 4, yeah. And so what kind of message are you hoping to hear out of Pierre tonight?
I don't really know. I don't know what to expect. This is my first time here. I got the text message yesterday. I showed up, and I'm just here to see what it's all about.
Will you be voting for him?
I will be.
Interesting. And everyone, no matter what generation you're in, is concerned about the generation behind, if you're related to them. I don't know if baby boomers really care about anybody else. But it's interesting as well because we have a very large contingent of his support is coming, surprisingly, for a conservative candidate, from youth.
Yeah, I was there kind of looking around the crowd, and there was quite a few handful. I actually tried to reach out to a couple others. They were like, I don't want to talk to you. You're in the media. But I found this one friendly face, guy named Callum, 19-year-old from Scarborough, and he's kind of concerned about his future. Says he wants to buy a house and, starting to get political.
Just the cost of living and jobs has been really difficult to find work, and I eventually want to buy a house, and I don't really see that as reality right now. And then also in another area, I like to hunt, and a lot of my firearms that I use to legally hunt have been prohibited. And Pierre said he will repeal that so I can enjoy that privilege.
So I got a 21-year-old son, not very political. What do your friends think of you being a little bit more political?
They seem to like it. I think as the younger generation needs to get more involved because we're going to carry on this country into the future. And I see being involved at a young age gets us going where we need to go.
Interesting that they brought up some other issues there as well. It's hard to remember sometimes that we have other issues in the election, such as gun control and the like. So there are some domestic issues as well. Did Poilievre manage to touch on a lot of those issues?
No, he was more he didn't speak very long. It was more just kind of hyping up the crowd, just giving, hey, we need our future, kind of repeating a lot of his slogans kind of thing. He didn't get too in depth as far as specific topics.
Now, I'm interested. Paint me a picture, because we're used to seeing the Trump rallies, and I mean, there's music and there's dancing and there's all sorts of entertainment. What was the format of this rally? Was it low key? What was it like? Paint me a picture.
Like I said, it almost had like that same sort of energy going into a music festival or a rock concert. Like I said, I've never been to a political rally, but it was a very positive energy going in. Everyone very friendly. I chatted with a few people on the walk up just to get in. And then once you got in, a lot of smiling faces, some music in the background. One of the clips, you heard some Corey Hart bumping in the background. And so, it was very, not a lot of anger or anything. It was like, I think people were glad that looking around going, hey, there's like-minded people here who think the way I do. And they felt a connection to other people there.
You spoke with one baby boomer who just loves Poilievre, but also their first rally, same as you.
Yeah, Beverly from Oshawa, she was a bundle of energy, and this was her first rally, and said, some of the things going on over the past couple of years has convinced her to get political.
I want to turn this town blue. The whole country, actually.
What hardship have you experienced over the past couple of years that's kind of compelled you to get a bit more political?
A lot of things, cost of living being one. So recently retired and very hard to keep up with the cost of living on a fixed income. I want my kids to all own homes in safe neighborhoods. And I just want Canada to be safe again.
If you could change one thing about Pierre's campaign, what would you do?
Oh, wow. He's doing such a great job. I love, boots, not suits. I don't know. I think he's really doing a stellar job. The people just seem to love him, and that makes me so happy because they say no boomers are voting for Pierre, and I would say 30% are boomers.
Now, give me an honest opinion. Do you think that the people there, from your impression, do they really understand the issues and what's really going on?
Yeah, I think, a lot of people, it's almost like they felt beaten down by a lot of things that have happened over the past couple of years under the Liberal government. And that's one of the consensus. I chatted with people. There's another woman I spoke to. She's like, I can't take another 4 years under this government. I'm a dual citizen. If it happens, I got to get out of here. And so it just felt like people are sick and tired and they want some kind of change.
See what Pierre has to say. I haven't really been political until the last couple of years. The decline of our country, and I think we need some support to get it out.
What message you hoping he kind of delivers tonight?
I really just hope he gets more support, honestly, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Can you take another 4 years under the Liberals?
No, if they get in, I'm a dual citizen, I'm moving back to the U.S.
Everyone says that, right? Everyone says that. I'm moving to the U.S. Well, you know what? You're going to pass some people who are moving to Canada, who are threatening to move to Canada from the U.S. at the border. So we're just going to be doing an exchange. So how do you explain then the size of these crowds and the relationship to the polls, or the juxtaposition to the polls?
Yeah, there was a lot of people confused about that. I spoke to, I would say, dozens of people there, some better audio than others. And that's the one thing, the common consensus was, hey, these polls appear to be fictional. Look around you. Look what our eyes are telling us as opposed to what something on a computer is telling us. It's almost like they're asking us to not believe what we're seeing. And that seems to be the consensus. A lot of people are like, hey, these polls have to be fictional. Just look around you. We're surrounded by thousands.
All right, it is going to be an interesting result. We saw what happened with the American election, polls versus crowd size. So we'll see what happens on this side of the border. Chris McKee, our producer here at Toronto Today. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Kevin.
Appreciate it. 416-870-6400. What do you think? Does crowd size matter? Does size matter when it comes to crowds and the election? What would you attend a rally? Have you attended any political rallies? How involved in politics are you all of a sudden? Have you not been involved before? Perhaps you're going to vote for the first time. I want to hear from you. 416-870-6400. Give me a call. Let's talk about this. You can even send a text if you want at that number, but I'd rather talk to you.